welcome and very good morning to all the participants as well as the distinguished speakers who have joined us this morning for the 66th edition of SKOCH Summit. India responds COVID and governance. In fact, if you look around, there has been enough talk and enough discussions on COVID that's been happening. But rarely have we come across on the governance part. Look at it this way. We've been talking of a new normal, but looks like this new normal is going to be pretty much normal for us. We have had, periods of lockdown, 1, 2, 3, and, partial unlockdown. Our experience has shown that perhaps these lockdowns were not required, but there has been a learning. The learning is a hope that I see COVID and governance is the talk given by Mr. Sameer Kochhar. I will invite him. Let me introduce the rest of the speakers. India's response to pandemic, 9 lessons for effective public management, comes from Professor Prajapati Trivedi, Commonwealth Secretary General Special Envoy for SDG implementation. He was also Secretary Performance Management in the Cabinet Secretariat in the Prime Minister's office, a position that was never heard of in the history of independent India. Talk about businesses, equally important when we say that the life is now limping back to normal. We are no more crippled. Therefore, what's important is to maintain the business continuity. That remains the key. So we have a global field delivery director from HPE, Mr. Ramachandran V. He will be talking about a few cases and case studies that he's going to be presenting, which are going to be a key learning factor for a whole gamut of businesses across the country. But yes, COVID-19 has given us a chance to go digital. Not that the digital was not happening, but there is a time during our life and time today when there is no going away from digital. We adopted digital many, many years ago. That was also under a kind of a compulsion wherein we were told that in case we do not adopt digital, the businesses are going to stop. So there was a deadline given to the banking and financial services industry. There was a deadline given to the state departments. There was a deadline given even to the central government departments. But today there is no deadline. It is happening on its own. So there is an opportunity even in the current crisis that we have. So we have put together a panel discussion around the digital governance post C19 and how is it that the states, our districts, our cities, as well as the public sector responding to it. At the bottom remains policy. So if we do not have a policy direction, a revival becomes a misguided missile. So on a policy for revival, we will be joined by Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, who is Principal Secretary IT and Industries from Telangana. And the sum total of that is transformation. When we say good governance, transformation remains on top. So for that, we will have Dr. Pathak, Professor Emeritus, joining us from IITB Mumbai. With this, let me quickly introduce Mr. Kochhar. He is the chairman and, as we fondly call him, the leading light at SKOCH. Started in 1997 with a very, very humble background, living in a place called Paharganj in the alleys of Old Delhi. And coming from where he was, he literally practiced poverty for the first 17 years of his life. And while everybody was packing their bags to the colleges, he was packing his bags to earn money for the family. He saw to it that family comes out of the penury. He saw to it that his elder sister gets married while he sacrificed his youth. Finally, the grit and the passion paid. He rose to the position of the national marketing head of the garage startup called Pertec Computers, PCL, and left it when it reached a 600 crore company. And right from the bottom, he started once all over again and founded SKOCH. That was in the year 1997. And we have gone from notch to notch, climbed up many paces, and there we are today, where we are interacting with. Already there are 321 delegates who have joined us online, and a host of luminaries who are sitting with us on the panel. So without much ado, I invite Mr. Kocher for his opening comments.